My son came home from school one Tuesday in October and told me that Columbus discovered America because no one was living there before he arrived. I set down my fork. He said it so casually, the way kids repeat things they've heard from someone they trust completely. He was 9. His teacher had a master's degree and 20 years in the classroom. I was a junior high dropout who'd spent the last 14 years working construction and reading every history book I could find in used bookstores across 3 states, trying to undo what school never gave me. I asked him to say it again. He did. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I drove him to school and sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes before going inside. I'd rehearsed it the whole way there. I wasn't going to be the problem parent. I was going to be calm, reasonable, collegial, all the words my wife had used when coaching me over breakfast. Mrs. Hartley's classroom smelled like dry erase markers and carpet cleaner. She was 40-something with reading glasses pushed up on her head, and she smiled when I introduced myself as Caleb's dad. The smile didn't last long. I explained what he told me. I asked, as politely as I knew how, where the lesson had come from. She pulled out the textbook. It was published in 2003. She seemed proud of it. I asked if I could show her something. I'd printed 12 pages the night before. Primary sources, academic citations, actual historians. I spread them on her desk. The indigenous population estimates, the Norse settlements, the documented societies across the continent centuries before any European ship crossed the Atlantic. She looked at the papers the way you look at a parking ticket. That's a more advanced perspective, she said. We teach what's age appropriate. I asked her how a factual error was age appropriate. She asked me, with a very specific kind of patience that wasn't patience at all, if I had a teaching degree. I said no. She said she appreciated my interest in Caleb's education. I left. That afternoon, I asked Caleb what they'd done in history class. He told me they'd had a worksheet, Columbus's 3 ships, the year 1492. One of the questions asked what Columbus found when he arrived. The expected answer was an uninhabited new world. My son had written, people were already there. He got it marked wrong with a small red check and a note that said, see textbook. My wife told me to let it go. She said I was going to make things harder for Caleb. She wasn't wrong to worry. But I couldn't let my kid sit in a chair 5 days a week and be taught to unsee things that were real. I emailed the principal. He forwarded it to the curriculum coordinator. The curriculum coordinator sent me a PDF of district guidelines and a polite note about their textbook adoption process. I started attending school board meetings. I went to 4 of them before anyone acknowledged me. I brought different documentation each time. I never raised my voice. I wore the same clean flannel shirt because it was the only collared shirt I owned that wasn't for funerals. At the 5th meeting, a board member named Denise Okafor asked me a direct question about sources. We talked for 11 minutes. I know because I'd set a timer on my phone, certain I'd be cut off sooner. 8 months later, the district approved a supplementary materials update for 3rd through 5th grade social studies. The Columbus lesson now includes a section on indigenous peoples and pre-existing civilizations. It's 3 paragraphs. It's not enough, but it's there. Mrs. Hartley still teaches the class. Caleb has a different teacher now. Some mornings he still asks me to check things he's learned. Not because he doubts his teachers, but because he learned that checking is what you do. Last week he told me his new teacher said something about ancient trade routes and asked if it was real. I looked it up with him right there at the kitchen table. It was real. Every word of it. He nodded like that was the right answer, then went back to his cereal. I think that was the whole point.